Let us start by comparing some of the magnetic components of our magnetic universe with bits and pieces of technology that use the forces of magnetism as indicated in these streaming images that I am not going to elaborate on much, while you also bear in mind that I am going to present this information to you as if you were scientists who know exactly what I am talking about, and with me assuming that your brain power and knowledge will compensate for my limited brain power and knowledge, especially when considering that many of you are no doubt more scientifically adept and intelligent than I am. The purpose of this video is to convince you that the universe is pure technology. Bearing in mind that the suns, the planets, the moons are magnetic, these heavenly bodies are organized like magnetic particles inside magnetic computer drives. But these right here are called magnetic nanoparticle sensor platforms. These nanoparticle sensors are especially noteworthy when considering that the Milky Way, the Sun, the Earth, the Moon, and the rest of the solar system are magnetic. All the planets and moons and suns are magnetic. Even the human brain is reportedly to produce a tiny amount of magnetism. We are all partially metallic, carbon-based magnetic nanospheres when it comes right down to it. The Earth is essentially structured like a nanosphere or microsphere biosensor, and just another platform for life forms like ourselves. The sequence of the layers, the geochemical composition of the layers are mere images of the structure and composition of technology. But the planets are some kind of nanospheres or nanoparticles of some kind, including the suns. The arrangement of the planets, the moons, and the suns inside the arms of the spiral galaxies is a mirror image of the arrangement of these nanoparticles inside these spiral nanoparticle magnetic sensors. This brings us to what are called spiral microfluidic biosensor platforms and devices, which are mirror images of spiral galaxies like our Milky Way. And there are two main types of microfluidic sensor platforms, one of which is called surface-based and the other is called channel-based, as we can see in this awesome picture here. My theory is supported by what is called superfluid vacuum theory, which I am not going to go into here. Both surface and channel-based platforms often involve the use of nanoparticles, nanobeads, and other tiny spheres that are used by doctors and scientists for biological and chemical analysis. The structure and movements of our Milky Way and other galaxies and planets and moons and other matter in these galaxies are mere images of the structure and movements within both channel and surface-based sensor platforms. The flows of the stars and planets, gas, dust, and so forth inside the galactic arms of spiral galaxies are mere images of the dynamics of the flows of cells, DNA, and other matter through spiral microfluidic sensor chips and disks, like the ones you see here. These spiral microfluidic and nanofluidic devices I am showing you are largely used for biological and chemical analysis and sensing at the cellular and molecular levels, which includes cell and DNA separation and processing, metering and filtration of molecules, plus many other biological and scientific applications that have been developed within the last few decades. The galaxies are also antennas, as we can see here, especially the spiral galaxies. They all emit radio waves like antennas, and they look like antennas. And the suns, planets, and moons are arranged inside the spiral galaxies, just like this antenna you see here with the elements arranged inside. The planets and moons and suns appear to be doubling as specimens inside galaxy-sized hybrid microfluidic sensors and antennas that are fused together into galactic pieces of technology that defy the imagination. This fusion of biosensor technology includes the like-minded theory that the planets and living moons are not just some kind of spherical nanoparticle platforms that we discussed, but also antennas merged with these platforms. This means that the living planets and moons and spiral galaxies are organized inside the arms of these galaxies like antenna elements that double as spherical, nanosphere, or microsphere biosensors of some kind. The planets, moons, and suns might even be specimens themselves, with any life forms that happen to evolve on these planets and moons being just another set of specimens on these hybrid biosensor/antenna platforms called planets, and maybe moons that harbor life. The planets and the galaxies are fusions of technology, including communications technology, sensor technology, computer technology. We have a system of technology inside technology inside technology. Machines inside machines inside machines. The cores of the Earth and the other living planets and moons, I believe, are also computer technology, as well as perhaps some kind of lenses. The suns, I believe, are playing the roles of plasma antennas, among other roles, with the planets and moons arranged inside the sun's gigantic electromagnetic field called the heliosphere. Plasma antennas use ionized gas plasma as opposed to the metal elements that we are all familiar with. The suns are gigantic balls of gas, essentially. The planets and moons serve as metal-based antennas, as just another set of antenna elements of the antenna element of their respective solar systems inside the antennas of their respective galaxies. We have a system of antennas inside antennas, sensors inside sensors, and other machines inside machines inside the machine of the Technoverse. Here are some more comparisons of the structure of the dominant planets in our solar system with cutaway views of what are called inverted spherical antennas and some spherical nanosphere and nanoparticle biosensors, the differences of which are irrelevant to the point that I am trying to make here. All of which are magnetic, all of which look alike inside and out, in addition to being made of many of the same basic elements, including any number of metals, as well as silicone, which makes up over 20-something% of the visible universe. And as we all know, silicone is used in the production of electronic equipment. Let us have another look at the Milky Way galaxy, but with a focus on its black holes, using the black hole at the Milky Way center as the primary example, which probably applies to other galaxies as well, in orbit around central black holes. These cores could be any of these technologies you see here, including sensor, computer, and antenna nodes of some kind, not unlike the cores of the planets and moons as we examined at the beginning of this video. Black holes like the one at the core of the Milky Way are pulling everything in that gets within their gravitational and magnetic grasps, including light and microwaves, and even entire stars, planets, and moons, as well as dust and gas that are all being swallowed up by black holes throughout the universe. When we examine this dynamic from an abstract perspective, black holes appear to act like some kind of radio receiver unit from hell that is pulling in anything and everything, or not unlike some kind of microfluidic or nanofluidic device pulling in cells, DNA, the planets, the suns, the moons, the dust, the gas that make up the universe. They respectively might be the equivalent of cells in DNA, but on a cosmic scale. In my mind, that is not out of the question. But the black holes are pulling in matter and energy. In fact, the entire universe is reducible to pure energy in motion. But the black holes are pulling in matter and energy. This matter and energy is information. What is even more interesting is that this dynamic is the same dynamic as a central processing unit that is pulling in information. And according to Scientific American, black holes are gigantic computers that are indeed pulling in information. This means that the suns, planets, moons, and everything else in the universe, including the universe itself, is little more than information. Where it gets even more interesting is that while black holes are said to be computers that are pulling in information, black holes are also not unlike the inlet valves on nanofluidic devices for DNA sequencing and analysis that pull in DNA. DNA molecules are also said to be computers, according to Scientific American. I believe that there is some kind of cosmic relationship between black holes and our DNA molecules. It gets even trickier when considering that DNA molecules are also helical radio transceiver coils, which generate electromagnetic fields, just like our bodies, just like the Earth, just like the Milky Way at large, all of which are antennas and electromagnetic machines. This system of electromagnetic machines inside electromagnetic machines, with regard to our relationship to our DNA and bodies at large, the Earth, the Sun, and the Milky Way, is a mere image of what is called a communications source relay destination system, like you see here, with the cores of our brains, the Earth and the Milky Way, and maybe even the Moon and the other planets serving as integral parts of this technological system that defies the imagination. This relationship is also the same as an input-output feedback loop of some kind. The Milky Way galaxy and the other spiral galaxies, it seems, are also in part some kind of recirculation or recycling system of which we are an integral part. If we think about it, the atoms in our bodies, one of these days, billions and billions of years from now, are going to end up back in the interstellar medium. The atoms in our body are essentially the remnants of long dead stars. We are somehow being recirculated or recycled. We are the stars, and these stars are us. Now, if it is the case that humans are avatars of the stars, which is on its face absurd, then this system of nanoparticles would help facilitate this avatarism. And I am not going to go into the particulars about nanoparticles and nanospheres and microspheres, but the planets are sensors fused with antennas. The electromagnetic field produced by the Earth is the same as this dielectric microsphere biosensor. Humans exist in the equivalent of one of these biosensors. Humans are probably being tracked or even perhaps manipulated through their electromagnetic fields. We all exist in the electromagnetic field produced by the Earth, which could essentially be a remote control apparatus. The same could be said for the sun. We exist in the electromagnetic field produced by the sun, all of which exist in the electromagnetic field produced by the Milky Way galaxy. These electromagnetic fields could be the mechanisms through which life on Earth is being manipulated. What I am showing you is the technological foundation for what would facilitate this manipulation, if we indeed are being manipulated. The system of electromagnetic fields inside electromagnetic fields would enable the engineers or whoever is operating behind the scenes to control or influence humans by influencing somehow the electromagnetic fields in our bodies. They may even be controlling us through these things. Who knows? Maybe they're living vicariously through us. But it doesn't matter. Here are some more examples. Whatever the case, it might be possible that the electromagnetic field line flow patterns produced by the Earth and the Sun and the rest of the planets and suns in the universe are as complex as those produced by human brains. We must also bear in mind that the suns and planets and moons are made of the same chemical elements as the human brain, and vice versa, and probably in the same proportion. If we are avatars of the stars, then this is the technology for it. I am going to end this video by saying that I have other videos out there under Cybernetic Universe, and that if you like this video, give it the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and leave questions and comments.